Yes. Okay. And the girls are back. What's going on, everyone? We are back for another Ooh Ladies First interview, exclusive interview with Miss Winter Williams of Love and Marriage DC. Before we get into the interview of it all, please do not forget to follow us on Ooh Ladies First Panel on Twitter and Instagram. Also, do not forget to follow me, Bondy, at Bondy Blue, Jami at Jami ThatsMe, and Necey at Necey Dixon. It's not up here, but don't forget to follow Winter as well at I Am Simply Winter on Instagram. Right, Winter? She gonna shake her head yes or no for me. Yes. Okay, we're good. Okay, y'all. So welcome everybody. Ooh, ladies first panel. We're back.
Oh, what's up?
Right. So, Necey, tell us again, what were you drinking?
I forgot the brand name, but I had to post it somewhere. Anyway, this is the Ghost Pear wine. So it's spicy and it's sweet and it's everything. It's so good.
Please post, because I feel like I need that, especially because a girl love her mezcal tequila, which has that like smoky kind of salty taste to it. So I'm here for the, you know what I'm saying? Jamie, what are you drinking? Are you drinking anything?
Nothing. I have nothing. I need water, but I have nothing.
Okay, well, I have a chai tea latte, y'all. That's what I'm on.
Good.
Yes, it is, girl. Y'all know Lyric always making drinks. All right, y'all. So y'all know we're here to talk to her girl, Winter. So without any further ado, Miss Winter, how are you?
Hi.
I'm excited. I really am. Listen, I watch Bondy faithfully. I've seen Miss Jasmine periodically. My sister follows all of y'all though. She was like, "Ooh, you're gonna be on the ladies panel." I'm like, I am.
That's funny.
I love it. We are so excited to have you because we have many, many questions for you. It's all been very entertaining. We were speaking with Winter behind the scenes, so girl, I feel like it's gonna be a good conversation.
I do.
So before we get into the questions of it all, I do have a little game real quick. Okay, it's a shout out to Necey being a young whippersnapper on TikTok.
I'm horrible with games, but let's go.
Let's go.
It should be easy.
It is. Okay, so I'm gonna start off. So it's basically you have to rate. Okay. So I don't know if y'all have seen this on TikTok, but it's like a cute little thing. And we saw it before we even decided to do this, where we'll give you like an example. So the man, he's a 4. Okay. He's a millionaire.
Physically.
Yes. He's a 4. Every time we give you a rating at the beginning, it's a physical rating. Okay. So he is a 4, but he's a millionaire and a gentleman. Okay. So that's his good qualities. But he's 5'5" with a beer belly. What's his new rating?
No. A 2. I can't. I'm sorry.
It's cut in half.
Two. Absolutely not. The gentleman doesn't make up for that because attraction matters. I'm good. Yeah, that's a 2 for me. The money don't make up for it. I know people think it does, but no, it doesn't. No, I'm good. 2.
Okay. You ladies?
Oh, you want me to give my rating
I
for
want
this?
y'all to give a rating too.
Millionaire gentleman, but he's 5'5" with a beer belly. I have to say that makes him a 5.
Not a 5.
The only reason why I'm saying is because he's a gentleman, so he's gonna treat you right. He has a lot of money. So if you get past the height and you get past the belly and everything else, it outweighs the cons, I say he gets a +1.
I don't know because I don't even know his personality. It's giving millionaire, so he can stand on his money. Maybe a 6. I mean, is he cute? He's a 4 in shape because he got a beer belly. What makes him a 4 though? Because he got a beer belly.
Overall, just
Probably
overall, physically, he's a 4.
Mm.
And then you have these components to add to it.
I mean, I'll give him maybe a 6 if he's willing to use that money to, work on that beer belly. Just a little bit. Maybe he may need a stylist. You probably could dress up people a little bit. Maybe a 6. But I'm 5'2", so everybody taller than me, so I'm not gonna trip too much.
I'm 5'3", so I'm not gonna trip that much either. Winter, how tall are you?
What's her face?
I'm so sorry. I am one of those ridiculous ones who are not much taller than either one of you, but I feel like my men at least 5'11".
At least 5'11".
I like climbing a good tree. I don't mind that. So
Listen,
Well,
know about it. All right, so let's move on. We have another one. Okay, he's a 9. Okay, wait, no, y'all want to read this one? Because I don't.
You got it. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
He's a 9. He has a great job. He showers you with gifts, but everything he gets for you, he gets it for his mother as well. So what's his rating?
Oh God. So I'm not against it. It's fine. You love your mama. That's good. I gotta figure. This is hard for me because mama's boys can go either way. I've had good ones and bad ones. Dang. I don't know. This is hard. I'm gonna give him an 8.
The stress.
I'm gonna give a 7.5 to 8. The whole mama thing is something I would have to see over time because that could be real messy. So 7.5. I'm 7.5 it because I just don't know. If he's one of them raggedy mama's boys, he can keep that. So I'm gonna say 7.5 to 8. That's hard.
I'm
gonna just say right now a 6. A 6.
I was gonna say 7.
Yeah, I'm with Winter on the 7.5. We just gotta see, like she said, how bad of a mama's boy are you?
Yeah.
Every time he gets you a gift, he getting his mama a gift too.
Is it the same gift?
Everything he gets for
Is
you,
it a car?
he gets it for his mother as well. Everything.
I don't know. I'm not against it. Like again, dynamics matter. So I would have to see now. If she's, y'all know this can be really bad. So I don't know. I'm gonna stick to my 7.5. I'm gonna rock with it.
Me too, Winter. Because you know what, girl? It's really giving. I'm a boy mom, and if my son gives me a gift and gets you one BIT, you better appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? And you better appreciate my child too. So I mean, it's 7.5.
So 7. My sons both listen. My sons are both play ball. Let's say they go to the league. If he want to buy me a house because he bought her a house, I'm not gonna stop that little boy.
Right.
That's fair.
Buy me out. Correct. I'm with one on that.
So I gotta see what it is.
I don't have any kids, so I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, get out of my face. I don't know what's wrong with you. I don't know what's happening there. I'm not competing with your mom.
No.
But I'm cool. I'll be by myself out on this limb. All right, so it's my last one. And Winter, you're gonna have to keep it a buck about this rating now.
God dang it.
He's a 6.
Damn.
He's a man of God. And he loves his mama. Because the mama thing is important nowadays.
Damn.
But he is scammer.
Child, throw the whole man away.
Ooh.
Same situation. Everything to a T. Love this mama, man of God, but child, throw the whole rating system away, honey. This is not viable. If this whole rating system needs resuscitation, child.
It's not real life me though. This literally not real life me. You'll be
Hilarious.
like, "Oh, I'm feeling it, the chemistry," and then it's like boom, boom, and boom. What you gonna do?
Yeah.
My God, I'm not. Listen, I'm gonna have to go with the fact that I married it. So apparently, at some point, it was a 9 to 10 for me to walk down the aisle. So,
Oh,
Well, there's that.
And
Oh, wow.
she's standing 10 toes.
I have
So you
questions.
gotta appreciate.
so, but
We gonna get into
knowing what I know now, throw the whole system away. -0. Negative with the
-0.
negative 6. Can we give him a -6? That's
-6.
Fine,
That
Yeah,
works.
we can do that. We can give him a -6.
-6.
I would give him. I'm gonna go ahead and give him a 3. I'm gonna give him a 3. You know why? Because I know a whole bunch of people that scam. Just like y'all want to know, I need to see it over time. What kind of scamming are we talking about? Are you boosting bags? Are you selling food stamps? Okay, like what type of scamming are we talking about? There are levels to this shit now.
It is.
Are you walking around the mall with the laminated AAU papers asking for donations?
Oh,
You know you need the money.
We did.
For me, yes. For me, he's definitely a 0 to negative.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say a 3 like Bondy because I was thinking about scamming and I was like feeling like Phaedra. I probably know that you scam, but at the same time, I might need a coin, but I ain't trying to be affiliated. So if we go down, you gonna go to jail. I'm not. So it would be a 3 for me as well.
Okay. I'm sorry, y'all. That was hilarious to me.
Yes, it was.
I love it.
Because I watched RHOA when all that was going down. So I remember. Hey, child, that's the best.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay.
So, y'all ready to get into the questions? Now that
Sure.
we warmed up? All right.
Yes.
First question. Winter, where are you from and what was your upbringing like?
Where am I from? So I was born and raised in Arkansas, hence the "all" in my Arkansas. Definitely was born and raised in church, y'all. My parents were pastors. So I was born into being churched and literally that's been my whole life. Outside of that, you kind of have the wild days in the college years, which is honestly how I popped up pregnant with my oldest daughter. So can't say that I didn't have some getting out there, but that quickly ended because I ended up pregnant. So her dad and I got married at 19. It was one of those two, like, make it right, make it honorable situations. And both of our parents were still married number of years. They both are Christians. Like, hey, y'all got to do the right thing now. Different story for a different day, but definitely don't ever do that. Let me say, anybody watching, don't do that. You just live with your consequences, but don't be trying to hurry up and get married. So that was really my upbringing. I became a mom at 19. Well, I had her at 20. So 20 years old, I became a mom. So I just went from basically being at home, being this church girl, to being a wife. And that's pretty much been my life until I filed for divorce from my ex-husband. So that's been my upbringing and how I got here.
So let me piggyback. So would you consider yourself a PK?
Oh, I am a PK. Like
so
my dad, still a pastor to this day. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm a PK.
Okay. Child, I know about them PKs now.
I know, right?
I was definitely one of them. I'm the oldest of 3 girls, and I feel like I saved my sisters a lot of spankings because I took every last one. I was just a rule breaker. Like, if you were going to give me boundaries, I was going to test them. That's just my personality. So yeah, I definitely am very feisty. I've always been very talkative. And I think too, like, I can relate to other people, using their mouths to make up for their height because I'm very short. So I always had to make sure I was noticeable and seen, so my mouth was my way. So that's just how I've been. But yeah, I'm definitely a PK and still am. So it is what it is.
Okay,
can't get away from
it. You own it, right? So what's your favorite reality TV show right now?
I don't watch a lot of TV, y'all. I'm gonna be honest. I really kind of stopped watching reality when I got into doctoral school. So yeah, I don't watch a lot of reality TV. I will say probably the one I'm on the most is Married at First Sight.
Oh, I love that show. Yes.
Married at First Sight. So that's about the only one I kind of, because my mom and sisters and I all kind of chat about it. But other than that, I really don't watch reality TV like that. I just don't. I'm a Netflixer, Prime Video, Hulu, that stuff.
So do you watch the show that you're on?
Say it again.
Do you watch the show that you're on, DC?
You want the real honest answer?
Of course.
I skim through. I'm very guilty of it. I have hardly seen one full episode. I literally skim, because y'all have to understand, I lived it. So I kind of can gauge where we are, what happened, Yeah, I don't watch it like that. Not even the reunion. I skimmed through that. That was traumatic for me. I'm going to be real about it. So I did not watch all of it. I watched parts. And yeah, so no, I really don't. Which Tal got caught up on Twitter, but I'm sure we'll get to that anyway.
Okay. So you said you got married at 19, right? Was this the professional football player so what was the breakdown of that marriage? Did he just have an outside child, or what was the breakdown?
No. So we were actually married for 15 years. And we have 4 children. So my oldest was born at 20. We had 2 kids before he went to the league. So people have to understand there's like a pretty large buffer between getting married and getting to the league. About 5 years, honestly. So when I get to the league, it's a whole different world coming from the college world. I married him when he was broke. I didn't even think NFL at all. Just wasn't the case. I thought athletes were stupid too. So I wouldn't date him. So I gave him a hard time because I value education and intelligence in a man, just being real. So that's important to me. And I just thought they all were stupid. He actually is very smart, graduated with 2 degrees while actually playing ball. So he's an intelligent man and has a wonderful job, actually. So he's fared very well after leaving the professional world. That said, going into that environment at our age, you don't realize all of the pitfalls and the challenges and kind of the, temptations that come with being in that atmosphere. And it is readily available. I can remember dropping him off for games, and the thoughts are in the reception area, and the wives can't even stay the night. Make it make sense. They force us not to stay, but the thoughts can be in the hotel situation.
Really?
True story.
This is just like the game.
It literally. It's just like the show.
I will give them props for being very close to literally how a lot of things go down. It's very true. So a lot of my issues really didn't start until 6-7 years into the marriage, is when I found out about the whole infidelity situation. And I was told it was the first time. It wasn't until getting served with child support papers 2 years later that I learned it was not the first time and it was another woman. So that's where the infidelity came in. And I hate to say good little church girl, because I feel like that's been a unfortunate, label that's been put on me, because I showed up, carrying myself a certain way that I thought I was better or too good. But you are raised to carry yourself in a certain way, being raised as a Christian. You just are. And so for me, being a professional woman, educated, Christian, you also are taught that you stay and you work this out, regardless of the other kids being born. You work this out. God can fix it, right? Well, that didn't happen for me. And so at some point I had to make a decision that, I've already given up 15 years of my life. Is this the way I want to live my life for the rest of my life? No. So I chose to leave. And this is how I actually ended up getting my MBA and went back to grad school, because I needed to work now after not working for a decade because I had been popping out kids. And so it's unfortunate. It's real. We have learned to move through it and figure out how to navigate, life after divorce with these realities, because my kids have 2 half siblings as a result of this. And we co-parent very well. He was just over here last week because we have 2 kids that are in college now. So we still have to co-parent together, and we respect each other. It happened. But this is honestly, and I think that was my frustration on the show with one of my I call them coworkers, bringing it up. It's like, you're bringing up something that's 15 years old. My son is 15. He's sandwiched in between both of his half siblings. This is a lot of years old. I don't want to continue to bring up something that our family has moved through. So I didn't think it was fair. And it's unfortunate that they edited out the bulk of my talk to just get to the piece of the juice within my speech that I was giving. But it is what it is. Y'all not ashamed of that. It happened. You can't control that. I literally felt like my life was a reality show already. Jerry Springer, to be perfectly honest, because it was a mess for some years. And paternity is a real serious issue when you're talking about things like this, especially when a person is of means. So it was very ugly for a number of years. And I just chose my peace and my sanity. And I didn't want to be in orange. I don't look good in orange. So for me, I needed to make a decision. And I chose peace. And so I'm happy with the way my life has gone as a result of leaving, because I could have chose to stay. My life was very cushy.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I was in a very cushy circumstance. I could have sat there and just, turned a blind eye, but I just felt like, I can make my own, and I can make my own way, and, serve my time, and I'm out. So that's the reality. I don't mind talking about it, y'all. I don't feel no kind of way. My kids are able to love their half siblings openly and freely. It took me a while to get there, because that's not easy, but now I ain't flinch. That's their siblings. They love them, and they should be allowed to love them. So my forgiveness has allowed for me to give them that safe space to do so in a healthy way. So, yeah.
That's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
For real. Okay. Jamie, were you gonna say something else?
Mm-mm. No.
Okay, I was just making sure. All right. Okay, so then that makes us circle back around to, how did you initially meet Miss Monique?
So Monique actually was a girlfriend when I met her of Chris. They were not necessarily all the way together. They were still what they call best friend and still friends at the time. And towards the end of my ex-husband's NFL career, that's when they actually moved forward, getting married. And we were in a NFL wives group. A lot of us kind of know through that circle, like our community is small, it's unique, it's different. So we met through that, and a lot of us are still very close and tight to this day. So it's a very unique and tight-knit community. So you learn to have this sisterhood, because there's not too many other people that are living your life. So that's how I met Monique. And a lot of that has just kind of maintained through the years of, hey, we would reach out here and there. We're both busy. We're both moms. And I think that was kind of the misconception, where people are like, well, you acted like we were closer than we were. Like, no, we're cool. We have a sisterhood. You kind of think that you can depend on a person based off of the connect that's been built around this sisterhood. I knew we weren't best friends. I never would have, lied and said that. We're just cool. I consider you a friend. Be it as though they may social, still a friend, someone I would call. And I called her when things went down with Kevin. So I don't know. It's just kind of strange the way that whole thing played out. But yeah, that's how I know her. And like I said, we still have very close connects to this day because of that. I talk to them all the time. So I'm not Monique and Chris, but NFL wives and stuff like that. We're still very close to this day, because it's just a unique community and sisterhood. So that's how I met her. So but she was a girlfriend turned wife.
So you knew her way back when, but before the show, y'all would communicate as friends. It wasn't. Let me. This is the way I perceive it. I perceive it as y'all met 15 years ago, rarely spoke to each other in between, and then this show came up, and then you started talking again. Is that wrong?
Yeah, because I actually did Monique's podcast back in 2019. or 2020. So I actually did her podcast in 2020. And I've attended a couple of her events in the past. So no, we didn't have this break, and then the show popped up. We've always just kind of sporadically kept in touch. We supported each other's businesses. We're both mompreneurs. So I would support her. She would support me. Yeah, there would be some gaps, but I have plenty of good friends that I actually would consider, like, I could tell my deepest, darkest secrets to, that I ain't spoke to in months or a year, but we could pick back up where we left off. It's grown woman stuff. It's not like it doesn't happen. So no, the show, there was a lot of things that happened in between us filming the show. If that was the first context, then I don't even think I would have been asked. I'm just going to be honest. There's no way. She had to experience me to be able to say, hey, the person I know that can fill this space as far as the podcast speaker would be Winter. Because she could ask anybody. Y'all, we in DMV, it's a lot of people that want to be public speakers and speakers. Like, she could have got a stand-in. But I think for her, us at least being connected and being social friends, she thought, hey, I think Winter would be a good fit for this. Let's back up, though. I want to just back up because this is important. When they initially wanted to, film the show or get couples, Kevin and I were asked as the initial rounds were being made for casting, because Monique and Chris knew Kevin in a separate life about the same length of time, about 15 years ago. So it's really kind of, some people say the universe, but it sounded kind of crazy that it all came back around when we got engaged. She was like, wait a minute, I know him. And I'm like, what you mean you know him? She's like, I know him. We went to church with him. Like, I know him. I was like, okay, cool. He helped Chris with his nonprofit and stuff like that. They traveled to Jersey or something together. So they knew him. So when the show comes up and Carlos is asking for, hey, do you know couples? She was like, since we know both of y'all, would you and Kevin consider? So we did 2 casting rounds. It's just that when things popped off between he and I actually contacted Monique and said, I need to talk to you. You got to pull us from the running out of this casting. It's some mess. Like, I got to tell you what's going on. Now, Monique was vacationing and didn't message me back for a couple of months. So I don't think we circled back really until like August or September. But that, I didn't falter for that. That's kind of how we talk. So I'm like, okay, let me tell you what's going on. So no, it was some conversation before the taping. Like, there was a lot of kind of nuts and bolts happening and going down. So I wasn't supposed to be on the show, y'all. Let's just be clear. I wasn't fighting to be on the show. Didn't want to be on the show. It just was that I was supposed to do this one podcast, just one. Fill in, cool. I got you. I'll be there. Do you mind being taped? No, I don't mind. I got you.
Well, thank God you were on the show. I said, well, thank God you were on the show.
Just saying. I mean, that's how it ended up there. It just so happened that not the producers, but one of the CEOs from the entertainment network and the executive producer was on site that night and pulled me aside and said, hey, we like what we saw. Would you be open to filming again in a few days? I said, sure. I got there a few days later, filmed at the Tyler's wedding, anniversary celebration. That was the second time I filmed. Carlos was on site that night. And Carlos pulled me back and said, we want to add you if you're interested. And I said, okay.
Oh, that made me think about something. And normally when I have thoughts like that means that's probably what happened. It sounds messy, but whatever. So now that you're saying that, it makes me feel like that's why Ashley was like feeling the way she was feeling about you. Because it's like, we already got a cast. She said she didn't want to be a part of it. Why they go and get her so she can be a part of it, even though she didn't want to be a part of it? Like, don't she seem like the type that would have kind of caught an attitude because she saw how they were kind of like coming to you directly, seeing something when you weren't really trying to be on the show? Like, I don't know why, but that just kind of popped in my head. Like, she probably might have felt like, why they keep going to get her? We already got a cast.
I was accused at the reunion of like sort of clout chasing, and I was the first one to turn my bio over to the Love and Mirrors DC cast. Like, I'm like, no, that wasn't me. I actually got it from Tasha, but okay. I actually saw that Tasha changed hers, so I changed mine. Like, oh, I probably need to do that, but they said I did it first. But what does it matter who does it? Who did it first? We all need to change it and identify ourselves. But it kind of came across like she wanted the limelight. She wanted to be here. Now she acted like main cast. And I'm like, I did not ask to be on this show. I was asked to be on this show. If I wanted to be on this show and be super messy, I would have let what Kevin and I were going through slide. And I would have just kept on keeping on, casting, and see if they would have added us. I could have done that. That was an opportunity. But because of the nature of it, I was like, no, pull us. We good. Like, if opportunity is meant to be, it'll be. But not right now. We got too much going on. I got to figure out what I'm dealing with. So I just thought that was strange. But I don't know what the issue was. But I do think now seeing the show back, I'm like, was there an issue? Because y'all, we were cool at Monique's podcast. That is what shocked the heck out of me. Ashley and I did not have any issues. Even though you see her saying that she's bored and stuff, that's not the communication her and I have. And she actually asked, like, hey, would you be open to coming on our podcast? I'm like, okay, cool. Let me know.
Interesting.
Like, weird.
But so real.
Yeah.
I think you're onto something, Bondy. But let me go back a little bit. So you mentioned how the Samuels knew Kevin from church.
True.
And that is so crazy that they didn't know y'all together. But they know him from church. How did you actually meet Kevin? And what was it that you liked about him?
So I met him through nonprofit work. We were working on a nonprofit project together. So we were cool for about a year before anything popped off romantically. So I feel like at this point, he's gained my trust. I do know him to be a quote unquote man of God. We're in prayer groups together, y'all. Like, I'm getting to know his surroundings, his friends. Everyone who knows him and is around him at that time spoke very highly of him. So it's not like I'm getting any red flags. Now, I wasn't romantically attracted to him. He knows this. Everybody knows this. I speak about this openly. That wasn't the draw for me. And to me, he didn't appear as old as he looked, child, on this recording, on this taping. Life looked a little hard for him. But that is not the man that I came in contact with. I honestly would have pegged him for early 50s, late 40s. He actually, his skin was brighter. His skin looked more healthy. Like, he just looked like a nice looking man with good hair. But I wasn't romantically checking for him because I did realize he was a little bit older and that wasn't necessarily my thing. So we were just cool. Like, we got to know each other on a platonic level. He seemed to be very respectful, didn't cross any boundaries. It wasn't until he really was interested in courting me that I was like, I talked to my mom about it and I said, I don't really like older, but I'm gonna give him a fair chance. He seems to be like a really nice, upstanding guy. So that's kind of how we got started. It was a very platonic situation, but a situation where he would have gained my trust. And especially you checking, what other people saying, like, hey, you know him? People are like, oh, I know him. Girl, he's nice. He's wonderful. He supports my this. He like very well connected in the community. Don't get it twisted. Boo Boo got connections in the DMV, very heavy hitter connections. So when you got people like that vouching for you, it disarms your suspicions in a way that by the time the game come forth, you already disarmed. So I think that's very good context for people to have. It ain't no god doggone way he could have stepped to me the way he walked on that show. And I would be like, oh, hey.
No. Because the way he walked on the show, when I first saw him, I was like, he lying. I already know he lying. It's like every scene we saw him, he had on a button up. And it was something about him that I don't know. I couldn't trust.
I tell everybody he looked like his bridge over troubled water had collapsed.
Oh, goodness.
And that's the God honest truth. Like, I honestly did not recognize him. He does not look recognizable to me at all. Like, I
want to see a before picture.
And me too.
I you know what? I was ready to ask. Like, I'm trying to pull something up. Like, can I show it am I allowed to show it?
Go right ahead. We're not gonna stop you.
No, I'm not gonna stop you because it's so funny, and I'm mad that production didn't show no befores because it really would have helped some folks. Because I'm like, listen here, y'all got to clear this up. Like, please understand, this ain't the same person. These two different people, and if I looked at myself on TV, I would be like, oh, she's stupid. Like, come on now. Like, I could have seen that, but no. Like, my friends will tell you, I'm very kind of particular about it. And because I'm protective of my kids, I get a lot of opinions. Like, what do you feel about him? What you pick up anything? And everyone was like, no, he seems nice. He seems cool. So it's unfortunate that people honestly don't get to see that situation, for what it is, because it's edited. They cut out so much. I had receipts on top of receipts, honey. I had all my paperwork laid out. Unlike being willing to show receipts on, other people, him, oh no, I had my receipts filed and ready. Like, what you need. The camera was on it. They didn't show any of that stuff. Like, legal paperwork, and they didn't show it. So I'm gonna look for a picture while we talking. Continue on. We can circle back.
Okay. So my question is regarding Ashley and Quick. Mm-hmm. They went on to Carlos King's The Nightcap, I believe, and they called you a clout chaser that kept the mess going. What are your thoughts about that? What were you thinking when you first heard that?
First of all, I don't need clout. I already had an established platform before we started this. So I just, to me, when I think clout, I think of people trying to get somewhere. And there were plenty of opportunities I could have taken prior to getting on this show that I honestly feel like would have highlighted me in a better light. I did this because we talked about Black excellence. The conversations that Monique and I had was that, hey, this is a good opportunity to help somebody. Like, a lot of people are going to be blessed by your story, your testimony, like how you overcame. That's how it was pitched to me. nobody with my background and my history, especially from the faith-based community, you don't go intentionally into the lion's den trying to be messy, trying to be a clout chaser for some drama. I'm good, because that type of stuff can actually ruin me. Maybe not the rest of them, but what I do, that could ruin me. So if it had been spun to me that way, I would be like, oh no, I'm good. I don't need clout that bad, because my platform is steadily growing regardless. So, and I make a lot of money doing what I do. So I don't understand that. I think it sounds good. But again, if I wanted to ruin people and be really dirty and low, I could have been. If I wanted to show receipts, I could have done it. Like, we filmed 10 straight episodes. Like, you're going to be messy, be messy. That's how I feel. Go big or go home. So if I really wanted to intentionally be that person, I could be that person. I can't change or trade out what producers wanted to do with my storyline. We don't get control over it. They could have cut me out like they cut out Tasha. She was actually the friend of the show. She was actually advertised as main cast. Like, do you not think that we all had the same opportunity to be cut and chopped? Yeah. So, I don't know. It's unfortunate.
Did you see Carlos' show when they were on? Because I feel like they were on the episode after you, and you were on. Who were you on the Carlos show with?
Oh, I had two Love and Marriage Huntsville, Destiny and Tisha.
Yes. Okay, I remember that. How was that? How was that?
That was cool. We had no problems. We went out and hung out afterwards.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I'm actually going to New York to support Destiny Thursday.
All right, come on now. We like
I'll support her with what?
So it's an event. I want to say it's headed up by Cynthia Baker, so she'll be there as well. Yeah.
Okay.
That's what's up.
Come on, reality TV.
Yeah, out there in the NYC. But you know what? I try to not judge people based off of context from shows. I don't really watch shows like that. I have seen Love and Marriage Huntsville, so I do know the situations, but I try to take myself out of that and really get to know them for them. They were both very kind and welcoming to me. So I'm cool. I literally like them both. We comment on each other's stuff. If you go on our IGs, we actually comment on each other's stuff and support. Yeah. So I like them. I have no issues. It was fun. We had a good time. Like I said, we went and hung out and ate dinner afterwards. So yeah.
Okay. Well, my next question would be about Ashley and Arena. I know you said that y'all didn't really know each other like that at all, but you and Ashley had never met before she met you at the signing. I mean, at Monique's podcast.
Nope.
And she was sitting on the stage. She was sitting there kind of like acting like, like, I don't know. It just kind of felt like, to me, it definitely makes me feel like she knew of you before that moment, because her angst towards you was very weird to me. All right. I just want to make sure that y'all didn't have any interactions beforehand, because
it's something that perplexes me regularly, because I can't have that much heat for someone I do not know. I personally cannot. That's not something I can do. So it's very strange, but no, never laid eyes on her. To be frank, the last time I saw all of them, excluding Ashley and Quick, was a year ago at Monique's potty training something book she released. She had a book release. So this was what was such a big deal, and how we even got to talking about the whole situation with Kevin at the vegan dinner. When I saw Arena, the last time I had seen all of the couples at that vegan dinner, with the exception of Quick and Ashley, I was with Kevin at Monique's book signing. So quite naturally, people are like, so how you doing, girl? How's your husband? We didn't talk about it at Monique's podcast, and that's when I was asked. Arena was like, I want to know what's going on. Monique was like, I ain't gonna tell your business, girl. So when we get to the vegan dinner, we're in a comfortable enough setting. If y'all haven't figured out by now, I'm very open. I don't hide stuff. I don't mind talking. It's my stuff. I own it. So I'm not ashamed of it. And I think, Ashley was put off by me being so free, but you have to understand, everybody that's here has seen me with a husband, and all of a sudden I don't have one. So Arena's like, so what's going on? How things been? What was you alluding to at the podcast? Like, Arena asked the question. I just honestly responded. And then Chris chimed in like, hey, I just met with Kevin the other day. Like, oh boy, that's how it got drug out for, as long as it did. But again, I didn't have any issue with it. What I took issue with was the mocking that was happening at the end of the table. When you don't know me and I'm actually telling you about a very serious situation. Like I'm telling you how I'm getting hit with partners accusing him of taking money and taking from their household, and people worried about whether or not they're going to lose their home and their businesses for being attached in this mess he's cooked up. We're talking about this. I just don't understand. So that is where, honestly, for me, the sour taste in my mouth for Ashley got put in. Like, I'm like, and I'm looking at Quick sideways. Because I'm like, what is that?
I was just about to say, to me, he makes her worse. I think for real, because to me, it was the clowning, oh, well, y'all know how hairstylists never have their hair done. And, you say you do nails, but your nails never done, like that type of shit. Like, you a comedian? Like, what you telling jokes? Like, it was just weird to me because I felt like he was trying to clown you at the table. And then everybody was kind of like, and I'm like, this is not funny what's happening right now. And even you, I feel like we're trying to keep it cute. But I really do feel like it was more him than Ashley at first. And I feel like he makes Ashley worse to me.
Yeah, that whole scene was so uncomfortable. And I really think back to it. If I hadn't known it would get into that, because no one wants to feel judged or attacked. People are going to have their opinions. I didn't have a problem with Ashley asking me questions. People always say that, well, she just asked what everybody else wanted to know. Tasha sat right beside me and asked me the exact same question that Ashley did. And it was in like you could hear the compassion in her voice. Like, did you feel some type of way with that? How did you feel? Like, I know you talked about being a relationship coach. Like, did that make you feel some type of way? That's a valid question. And I said, absolutely it did. Like, you think you pegged this man? Furthermore, let's bring back in the Christian standpoint. I done prayed, think I done heard from the Lord. Like, I'm questioning everything at this point. I'm being honest. Like, it's a valid question. It was the manner and the delivery in which it was asked. And I'm like, who would ask somebody something like that? Like, it just didn't sit well with me. I know she said it's her personality, but I personally just didn't think it was necessary or called for, especially when you don't know me like that. Like, imagine if I was a fighter or a cusser, that might have been the situation.
Or a cusser. No, this makes perfect sense. Now that you've given us context as to how you came to be a friend of the show, this makes sense as to why she was so annoyed. Because it seems like every time you were ready to be open and honest, she was like, okay, bye. We heard your story. We bored. So this makes sense. Mm-hmm. But since we've been talking about this vegan dinner and, point number one, I would like to know, and the people would like to know, what is it that makes you a spiritual coach versus a relationship coach? So on the reunion, you mentioned that you shifted to just a spiritual life coach. So what was that about?
And I hate, like, when I saw the clip played back, I'm like, it's at a vegan dinner. You don't have time to go into these in-depth conversations and explanations. We're talking about 1,000 things at this table. So I actually left relationship coaching in 2019, which was actually the year I met Kevin. So when I'm talking to them and saying, hey, I'm thinking at the time, I'm a relationship coach. I should see these red flags. I should know better. It's relevant because I was one when I met him. It's just that towards the end of the year, I made a major announcement, and everyone who follows me was like, they don't know you, and they clearly don't follow you, that I was going into ministry. And that's when I switched to spiritual life coaching, because you deal with people who are struggling in their walk with their faith walk, what they call sinning, bless their heart, people having struggles. And I get it. We all human. We have our issues. So that's the difference between a relationship coach. So versus people working on a love life, now I stick more to their spiritual life. And I do professional coaching for professional women because I am in the professional world. I came out of corporate. So I do professional, and that's why I say spiritual life coaching. It's a mixture, but mainly spiritual, because I get paid to speak at a lot of events, flown all over the place. That's been my life for the last 3 years. I just came off tour prior to filming the show. I was on like a 6 or 8 city tour, like a revival tour. So I'm like, this is not something I'm playing around with. This is my life. And it's unfortunate that Monique was like, well, I didn't know you switched over to that. Well, honestly, you're giving context now to the type of relationship that we have as friends, because just because you don't know it to be true doesn't make it not true. Just say, hey, I didn't realize that you had made that switch. I just always known you to be a speaker and a relationship coach. So yeah, I hate that the scene where Tasha and I got cut, because I actually explained that in the scene to her right after the vegan dinner. So I think the audience would have been able to see that and been like, oh, okay, we get it. But of course, for drama's
it's
sake.
safe to say you didn't change your title based on a situation that happened with Ashley and Quid.
For what? Who are you to qualify or disqualify me? That's like me shaking my head because of a dude. Like, I literally gasped when Arena said, when you see her with a shaved head, you know a woman is going through something. Now, ma'am, you know good and doggone well you saw me 8 months ago with a shaved head with a husband. So how all of a sudden, you know, like, make it make sense. That's all I'm asking. Make it make sense. I got pictures of all of us at Monique's podcast with my good old shaved head and my husband in it. So now I'm going through something, and I shaved the side of my head and had a Britney Spears moment. Like, we got to read between the lines and kind of put together the storyline that's trying to be forced here, is that somehow something's wrong with me. I'm actually quite sane and quite in my right mind, which is why I can own my stuff and openly talk about my stuff and not feel a way about it. So I just really, it's unfortunate, but yeah, I don't know. So no, I didn't change because they came at me for that. I'm not going to let people punk me out of who I am. Like, if I'm not clear on anything else, I know who Winter is. So yeah, I think that's funny. I just think that they were trying to run with that whole, oh, you're a relationship coach, but you can't keep the relationship. Be it as though they may, relationships consist of a lot of different relationships. I actually, you know, deal with a lot of women who have gone through divorce and infidelity. That is a form of relationship coaching. If I wanted to stick to that, I most certainly could, because divorce rate is 50%. So 50% of our population is dealing with some sort of breakup and divorce. It's needed to have people that have been there, can walk them through it and support them through it. Because clearly we have people that don't understand. So no, I didn't switch because they said some, please. I'm one of the older women in this group too. Let me just say that. I'm outside of Arena, I'm the oldest.
Oh, wow. Didn't know that. Didn't know that at all.
In their mid to late 30s. Arena, I think, is 47. I'll be 41 in September. So a lot of my response, I think people kind of got, you know, people were mad at my shade, but, you know, I always say you ain't got to cuss the cut. But I'm also a grown woman, and I'm not going to get here and act a fool and slap and fuss and fight. That's not how I fight. But I can stand my ground and hold my composure, because I'm a grown woman. What would I look like, y'all? Getting bucked at almost 41? Child, no, not going to happen. So I think that's important too, that a lot of my response comes out of my age, why I won't buck or flinch or all that stuff. I just say what I got to say, but I'm not going to fight, y'all. Just not going to happen. It's beneath me. I'm not going to do it. So.
Okay. That's what's up. You were very in control when you were on stage, I must say. Even though the other side may have been having a bit of a tantrum, you seem to be pretty, you know, in control of yourself.
You were.
For sure. But I do have a question regarding Monique and her husband. Not sure how close you are or have been around them over the years, but I wanted to get your thoughts on people feeling like Monique bashes her husband. I think he even mentioned that too. Like, what are your thoughts on that? Would you agree, disagree?
I will say, in my experience, I've always known them to be good. You know, I think Chris is great. I would be honest. Like, I know she has her issues, but honey, based off of what I've walked through in my lifetime, that's a small bag with a lot of good. You got to roll with it. So I can't speak negatively about them and, you know, what I've seen about them. I just think in our culture, it's very difficult when we have so many negative spotlights on our Black men. When you actually have one that's trying, it's hard for people to take any sort of criticism towards a man that appears to be at least handling his responsibilities and wanting a family and wanting his marriage and wanting his wife. So I think that's kind of the uproar that you see. But from my experience, they've always been good. I've never seen her, you know, I've experienced some stuff. So I've never seen her like throw some stuff at, you know, like throw a phone at him or nothing like that. Like, I've never seen her do that. And like I said, if I ever had an issue, that's something about me, because if I feel like you are a friend in any way, if I have an issue with something you're doing as it relates to your marriage, I will come to you directly. Like I would go to her and have a conversation with her about it. So I'll just say I can't say that I've witnessed it. I just haven't, and I won't say anything less. That's been my experience. They've been good. So, but I do understand the audience perspective based off of what is being shown. Like I do get it. And that's hard to watch because he's a good guy, y'all. He's the only one that actually at that time was like,
yeah, the only one that had your back. You only had a good two people now. You only have what Tasha this season, and then I think Chris at the reunion.
We'll talk about that in a moment with Tasha, because I have a question about that.
And I have a response to that, but okay.
Okay, we'll wait on it, but we can first go ahead and direct it back to Monique. Yes. Do you feel like she betrayed you as far as how this season played out?
I will say that our conversations do not match what displayed on screen.
Okay, in what way?
And so when you are brought in under the aspect of, hey, this is a great opportunity to share your testimony, great opportunity to share your story. Winter grew up this season. Y'all watch Winter grow up. I'm gonna keep it $150 with y'all. What people actually see is Winter's eyes being blown wide open and getting an inside look as to how naive being a PK church girl has made me, and very trusting and kind of blinded in a lot of ways that I feel like street smart people ain't blinded. Like they always constantly checking. And we're not raised because we're raised to always see the good. It's kind of like, oh, we're good. You know, you kind of tend to inflate yourself in some situations. And one thing I have learned is that I am guilty of inflating myself in the eyes of other people. And I do realize that I felt a way about Monique that was clearly not mutual. Clearly not. And that's the unfortunate part, because I'm coming in not really knowing the other ladies. I did feel like we're filming a reality show. So in this incubator, in this ecosystem, she is the closest thing I have to someone I feel like who has my back. And to almost feel like, oh, no, Heifer, you equal with everybody else. Like, everybody equal. It's like, okay, if I had known I would have been fighting alone, I might have would have brought some more backup. Like I might have would have introduced some more main characters into the show. So at the very least, if I had showed up to a reunion, it would have made sense why a person was with me. You know what I mean? Like I clearly was riding by myself. And I know she has done very well with trying to keep me like plugged in with different things along the way. And I wholeheartedly appreciate her for that. But it's definitely unfortunate the way some things have been played out. Like even, let's say, for instance, with the reunion recently, how she tweeted and took, like defended Quick. And I'm not gonna lie, I felt like she invalidated my feelings. I don't care about Quick's character. I'm being real. I don't care. That ain't my mission. I'm talking about a moment. And in that moment, he was out of line. And I personally, I was seriously triggered. It took me days to process that moment. I'm going to be honest, and I've said this on another major platform. I don't remember parts of that reunion, and there's parts I refuse to watch because I feel like it will bring stuff back for me that my mind blocked out to protect itself, because it was very toxic. It was way worse than it was edited to be. Way worse. To the point where people were like, well, no, she was holding him back to tell him that she got it.